sales funnels have changed. And if you're still running the same sales funnel that you're running 2 years ago, then you are actively leaving money on the table. I know this because I've spent the last several years building funnels for myself and my clients across a dozen of different industries. I've helped generate millions of revenue through these systems, and I've actually watched the rules change dramatically in the last 12 to 18 months. The businesses that are winning right now actually understand something that the others are completely missing. So in this video, I'm laying down the new rules of sales funnels in 2026. What's changed, why this matters, and exactly what you need to be doing differently to build a sales funnel that actually works. But before we even think about looking at the new rules of sales funnels, we need to talk about why your traditional sales funnel has fundamentally stopped working. Because if you don't understand that, the rest of the video isn't going to make any sense. The problem with traditional sales funnels and how they've worked for the last, 15 to 20 years, and I'm talking mainly since the introduction of things like meta ads, the problem is that the consumer journey was very, very simple. You would run traffic through a TV ad or something, a newspaper or a radio advert or even a Facebook ad, back in the day. And the consumer would normally only have one option. They'd see your ad and have no way to compare. They wouldn't read reviews because they didn't have access to this. Like, if we actually look about how people used to buy things, there was none of this going on Google reviews, going on Reddit. There was no major touch points. Whereas if you consider it now, the last time that you bought something, no one just buys without either sitting a sales call, going through testimonials, going through reviews. Think about how you book hotels now or flights. It's not as linear and it's not as easy as it used to be. There are so many more touch points that consumers are actually able to use and so many alternatives. The businesses that are winning the most in 2026 are the ones who understand this concept and spend more of their ad budgets on collecting consumer data than pushing their products and services. So the first new rule is stop sending traffic to a landing page. A traditional landing page is a one-way transaction. You're essentially asking a stranger, someone who's very, very cold to your business, to give you their data or to give you their time or to even give you their money. So what do I suggest that you can do in 2026? Well, there has to be something that we call the value equation. Your prospects are going to give you time, money, or even their data. You have to give something back. Something that we love to do is called a quiz or an assessment. So what you can actually do is if you set up one of these assessments, you can feed it so that when the prospect actually enters all of their information, they answer a few questions about the thing that you sell or the thing that you want to sell to them. And in return, they get something like a PDF that is stacked with value that can actually help them even if they never talk to you again. You can ask them their pain points, you can ask them their goals, you can ask them their budget. They're going to get a results page that's going to give them actionable steps to improve on what they're already trying to fix. And a big psychological reason why this works is that people open up to robots, they open up to computers, whereas if they was talking to a salesperson, they'd be a lot more defensive and a lot more closed. I actually call this approach the data dustbin method, where you collect as much data as you can on your prospects, and then you can just fire things back out at them depending on what they answered. You're now going to get key information about what the business is, who they are, and what their problems are. This means that you can deliver the right solution packaged up the right way in your marketing. So every single month you get better and better leads, and then by the end of the quarter, the year, the decade, whatever you're trying to, hit your targets in, you're in a position where you have more data than you could ever imagine. The second rule is that your sales funnel has one job at a time. What businesses try to do is they go straight in and they try to skip all the stages. The goal of the traffic and the initial stage is just to make sure that you're talking to the right person. Next is the data. Now this is where we qualify the prospect and also collect their data. So I then have a CRM full of the prospects that I've reached out to, and effectively I'm moving them from Meta, from LinkedIn, from YouTube into my database. You can see how the data dustbin is starting to take shape. Now, once I have their data, the next is the nurture. And nurture is where I start to build the trust, I start to educate, and I start to use something that I call the FTO framework. I want to educate the prospect, Then I want to give them a feeling, then I want to build trust, and then only then I go for the offer. Once the nurture's done, I will then go for the conversion. This is normally where I try to hit them with a special offer or something to make them feel like the offer is designed directly to hit them. The offers that I can then generate are going to be so personalized because I have all of the data and I've segmented them perfectly so I can hit the right people at the right time with the right offers. Most businesses make mistakes where they try to go through and they sell too quickly and they don't properly allow their sales funnel to work correctly. If you want everything in one go, then your marketing is going to be extremely painful because you're going to essentially have a scattergun and you're trying to just get anyone that you can with everything at the same time. Businesses who do the best are the ones who understand this and segment it so they can actually rely on their funnels to do their job. They just need a bit of patience. That brings us on to our third rule, and it's the one that ties everything together so far. You have to actually earn trust before you earn the sale. And the framework that I use for this, and I've already hinted at it, is called EFTO. So if we're just going to fly through what EFTO actually means, what it stands for. First, we have education. And the goal of education is twofold. You either educate the prospect on their pain and that their pain is a pain, or you have to educate your prospect on what your product or solution actually does. After the education phase of the funnel, the prospect should feel like they're educated enough to make a decision. Now, when I talk about educating them in pain, what that actually means is that a lot of people live their lives not knowing the pains that they have are pains. This is because they don't know that solutions exist. Effective education is just bridging the gap between where they are and their desired state. And remember that the gap between that is normally your solution. After education, we have feeling. Now that is the feeling of I want to win, I want to achieve, I want to have what you are selling. Now, feeling is really, really difficult because to give someone a feeling is almost the most important part of this whole funnel. You have to give your prospects the feeling that they're going to win. You can do that through email or retargeting ads. I'm talking testimonials and case studies that can relate as close as we possibly can to the persona that you've already got in your database. Next is trust, and trust is pretty obvious, but the idea of trust is just to make sure that the person or prospect trusts you enough to purchase. The goal here isn't to make them buy now. The goal here is actually for them to have a feeling that next time they're in the market for your product or solution, they trust you enough to come and make the purchase. Only once you've done those three, you can move on to the final one, which is O of EFTO, which stands for offer. The offer shouldn't even be a pitch. It's just the next logical step for them to fix the thing that you've already built up over the E, the F, and the T of EFTO. Now, it's so logical. Why would you want to go and educate people? Because education is not going to make you any money. Giving someone a feeling is not going to make you any money. Building trust isn't going to make you any money. It's only the offer. But I promise you, if you do the first three correctly, not only will your offers be a lot easier, they will convert so much better than before. Now, if you're watching this and feeling, okay, I like the idea of this, just where do I start? Well, you're in luck. This is exactly what we teach in our brand new accelerator. It's going to teach you how to get a quiz funnel live, how to get traffic to it, and how to nurture in under 72 hours. There's going to be a link below which can take you to a page where you can learn everything that you need and answer all the questions that you may have already. We've still got a few more things to get through in this video, but after that, check it out, and we guarantee that you will sign at least one client from our frameworks and systems. Rule 4 is about what happens when someone enters the funnel but doesn't convert straight away. And I'll give you a hint, it's not just to give up on them. When I first started advertising using meta ads, I was shocked at what something called retargeting was. Now, what a retargeting ad actually does is it's a pixel on a landing page. This then attaches to something called a cookie, which then tells your phone that you want to see ads like what the thing you've already searched. However, to even improve that, now there is something called a conversion pixel. This means that if someone actually gets through a certain stage of your funnel, we can target them completely different as well. So what we actually like to do is when we run our quiz funnels, let's say they go through the scorecard, but they don't buy or they don't book a call, then what we actually do is hit them with something called a retargeting ad to help them get to the next stage. Now, if they've already shown interest and they've completed the scorecard and I've called them out correctly, then I know they're probably a good fit. The next goal maybe might not even be to convert. It might just be to build trust. It might be to put testimonials in with no CTA. Now, again, this sounds alien because you don't make any money if there's no CTA, but what it does is it just builds the trust. They're looking at my face or my company's face every single time they're on Instagram, and then guess what? When that email hits them 3 days later, they're a lot more interested because I'm everywhere. This is called the Omni approach. This is brilliant for making you seem like you're everywhere. The best part about all of this is that retargeting ads are so cheap. For those of you who run them before, you know that fresh ads are so expensive, but retargeting ads are actually really cheap, and you actually build the audience pot and you can just keep advertising to them every single day. I treat our retargeting ads the same way I treat our nurture sequences by email, which is just the FTO framework. I do nothing fancy, but if I've already called them out, then I probably don't want to call them out again. I already know I'm talking to the right person, so let me just put as much value as I can in these ads so that every day I'm educating them, every day I'm building the feeling with them, every day I'm building trust with them, and then eventually I might even throw an offer in there. The fifth rule is one that kills a lot of good funnels. So rule 5 is matching your traffic to your funnel stage. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, when you're building your funnels and you're building the traffic, you have to think about where the prospect has come from and how much they've already engaged in what you've got. You have to be as formal as you can at the start. And remember, the goal is just to get their data and to get them to stay. You're not trying to sell to them. You're not trying to get them to book a call. So you just build something where they feel comfortable and they get enough value. Once you've done this, you can actually have different landing pages for the warmer traffic because you can be a little bit more informal. But again, the goal is just to have them hear you and to be educated by you as much as possible. When you actually get to the bottom of the funnel, this is hot traffic now. They've seen you, they've heard of you, they might have watched, 6, 7 of your YouTube videos, or they might have seen your ads. If they're now ready to buy, let's make that as easy as possible. If you're running an ad that just goes straight to an offer page, then your results are going to be so poor. Whereas the goal, again, is just to get them through the funnel. So just think about that and make sure when you land on your first page, do a test, have a look at it and go, where do I enter my details into this? What am I going to get back from this? Or is the company just trying to sell to me right now? And what happens a lot of the time is people get a lot of clicks and no purchases. They think the ads are rubbish, where in reality, the ads are great. They're getting that much traffic, then brilliant. The landing page just sucks. And the final rule is actually about the offer itself. Because even if you've got the perfect funnel architecture, if your offer is wrong, you are leaving a huge amount of money on the table. So for the final rule, you need to build something I call a tiered offer system. Most businesses normally have one offer. You either buy or you don't buy. They might have a monthly retainer. If you're a coach or a consultant, you might have, one thing that they can come and buy. And if they can't afford it, then they just don't buy with you. The goal is to make sure that you can capture as many people as you can with the right offers. We like to run something called a 3-tiered system. We have a low ticket offer for those who can afford it. The problem with the low ticket offer is that every now and again we have people come into our funnel who can afford way more than that. We can get a lot better results if they simply spent more money with us. This is one of the key concepts that I got when I sat down with Daniel Precy and he audited our business. He wanted us to have an offer that was 5 times more expensive than the ones we already have. And I remember asking him, I was like, I don't really get it. Like, what are we going to be able to do for that amount of money? And he said, Mitch, you'll figure it out. You want to be able to make sure you can get as much money off of your clients at any one time. Now, that doesn't mean scam them and charge more than what you should, but just have enough value in there. So if they do want to come and spend 3 times the amount, there's a package that they can buy. And if you look at what we do now, we have our free quiz funnel academy, we have the accelerator, which is low ticket, and then we have our high ticket done for you retainers. If your marketing budget is 0, the whole way up to $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month, then we can cater for you. I never negotiate on price. I just negotiate on scope. I prefer to do more for more money than to do less for less money. So those are the new rules for sales funnels in 2026. The game has changed, but the businesses who understand the new rules are doing better than ever. Now, if you want to see how this comes together exactly as a full funnel, the ads, the scorecards, the nurture sequences, then click right here to watch a video where I break it down. In that video, I walk you through the exact sales funnels that have helped generate millions in revenue across multiple different businesses. You can watch the whole thing from start to finish. I'll see you over there.